What's up everyone, my name's Ricky and welcome to the RA Visuals YouTube channel. If you're new here, I do a lot of tech related content, photography and videography gear reviews, and I stream as well. So if any of that interests you, get subscribed with those notifications on so you can hang out with me in future videos or streams. So today we have yet another keyboard video for all of you out there, and this one is really for everyone. The reason for that is because I purposely went out of my way to find some of the best bang for your buck keyboard parts to put together a very premium looking and sounding custom keyboard for not so premium of a price. But do you know what else you can get for not so premium of a price? A Windows 10 Pro key from my favorite online retailer, URCDkey. URCDkey has discounted codes for games and software that are a fraction of what you would pay if you purchased them from a retail store. More specifically, they have great prices with Windows 10 OEM and retail as well. If that's not enough, you can also use my promo code RAV20 to receive 20% off the already discounted price. Just type in the product you're looking for, add it to the cart, view your cart, head to the checkout, and then type in my promo code RAV20 and see the sweet savings appear. But wait, PayPal isn't working for you? You just need to scroll down to the bottom right, click this link right here, and make sure you use that promo code they give you at checkout, and PayPal should work like a charm. Check the links in the video description to learn more. Okay guys, so today we're going to unbox and take a look at the Mizar MZ60 Luna. This is an optical switch keyboard with hot swappable switches. And now, before we unbox it, I just wanted to tell you guys to make sure you stick around to the end of this video because I'm actually going to be giving away a different keyboard to one of you guys. So with that out of the way, stick around to the end of the video, and now let's go ahead and unbox the Mizar MZ60 Luna. Alright guys, so this is the Mizar MZ60 Luna. This is a 61 key keyboard with Gateron optical switches. They are Gateron optical blacks in this case right here. This is the white case version as well. It's available in black and white, and then it features ABS double shot keycaps on the top, and they actually have all of the different functions printed on it too when you use the stock keycaps. So the main reason I decided to choose this specific keyboard is because of those optical switches and the price, obviously. But I feel like the optical switches will be a little bit easier for new people that are just getting into keyboard building to work with, and I'll tell you why here in a bit. So just by looking at it, you can tell that this keyboard has a ton of regular functions and lighting functions, so let's get into a couple of those real quick. Starting on the left side, you have your caps lock key, your media keys, as well as your macro keys and your F keys. Speaking of that caps lock key, it's kind of weird because when you press it, it doesn't give you any indication that it's actually working, so just be aware of that. And then on the right, you have your arrow keys, as well as your functions to use all of your different 87 key keyboard functions. And then, of course, you have all of your lighting function buttons that have a ton of different functionalities, including turning the lights off and turning them on, decreasing the brightness and increasing the brightness, decreasing and increasing the speed of the different effects. And speaking of all the effects, there is a ton of them, so I'm just going to time lapse a few of them right here so you can see all the different pretty colors. And now that you guys have seen every RGB function this keyboard has, let's go ahead and go to the most important part, what this keyboard sounds like stock right out of the box with zero modifications. Alright, so as I'm sure you guys can tell, this keyboard requires a bit of work. So that's exactly what we're going to do right now. So let's take a look at some footage from a couple of my past streams from last week. Now, as always, the first thing we got to do to start beginning some modifications is taking the board apart. So we start with taking off the stock keycaps and taking out the stock switches. And I figured I might as well warn you guys if you didn't see this stream, but taking out the switches on this particular keyboard is a little difficult on the top row and the bottom row because the switches sit so close to where the bezel of the chassis is. So you're gonna have to use a pretty thin switch puller to be able to get them out. So I ended up not being able to use my nice, really strong one. I had to use my more weak one, and I almost broke it in the process because they're a little bit tight to get out. Then once I had all the switches out of the board, I had to go ahead and take my switch opener and open every single one of the Gateron Optical Blacks that we had there, 61 of them to be exact, and sort all the different parts into my parts trays so I could then begin the lubing and filming process. Speaking of that process, the first thing I went ahead and did was take my nice lube station that I got from the PrevailKey.co. If you guys are interested in this thing, it's called the Monster Gear lube station, and you can get it on that website. The links is in my description. You guys can use my promo code and get yourself a nice little discount if you want. And I use this thing to go ahead and just hold all of my switches and just set them down while I started peeling off the switch films from the piece of paper that they're on with tweezers, and then go ahead and throw them on the bottom housings of the switches one by one. So this was a very tedious process. It's the first time I actually filmed switches before, but this lube station definitely helped me in my process because it gave me a nice little place to put them while I was peeling off each one by one, and had to do that 61 more times. Then after the filming process was done, I began starting the lubing process, as always, starting with the bottom housings. Once the bottom housings were done, I then moved on to bag lubing the springs, which is a very quick way to get your springs lubed, just using some of that super lube, spraying it into a bag, and shaking it around. After that was done, I went ahead and put every single one of the springs into the bottom housing. That way I could go ahead and start lubing the stems and then placing those into the bottom housing on top of the spring. Then finally I went ahead and lubed up the top housings and then pressed the entire casing right back together. So at that point, you got yourself some nice and fully lubed Gateron Optical Black switches that are ready to go back into your board. So let's go ahead and do a couple more modifications. The first thing that I noticed when I took the keyboard fully apart to do more modifications was that it actually came with pre-lubed stabilizers, and they actually didn't wiggle very much. They seemed pretty dang solid, so I decided to leave them alone because I also didn't see any of those claws you normally have to clip off. One thing I definitely noticed when I actually took the entire thing apart was that the bottom casing is very hollow, so I felt that it could do with a little bit of sound dampening. So this is the first time I ever tried this, but I went on Amazon and got myself a roll of neoprene foam, and it actually has a sticky part on the bottom, so it sticks really well to whatever surface you're putting it on. And all I did was just cut it to size, stick it in the bottom casing, stick it to it, push it down, poke the holes through, and bam, we got ourselves some sound dampening. Once that was done, I decided to put the entire thing back together and start putting the switches back into the PCB. And guys, be careful with this. If you do the sound dampening like I just did, it kind of pushes up a little bit on the PCB, so some of your switches may not go in right away. You may have to press them pretty hard, but just be careful, don't damage anything. Now, with the sound dampening done and all of the switches back in the PCB, the next thing I did was I took our new keycaps that we got for this build, which are some pudding keycaps from HK Gaming. And now guys, the Mizar keyboard we're using right now is actually made by HK Gaming. Once you take it apart, you can see on the inside it says Mizar by HK Gaming, which is pretty funny. That I ended up getting these keycaps by the same company and I had no idea. But either way, these things look really nice. They are the Miami theme, and I think they went really well with this build. And for 25 bucks, you can't really go wrong. And now with the keycaps on the keyboard, the last thing we got to do is go ahead and unbox and take out our new coiled cable from Asceni and pair that with our build, plug it in, and watch it light up. Okay guys, so let's get down to brass tacks here. How much did this all really cost me in the end? Let me break it down for you really quick. So for the MZ60 keyboard itself, I paid $59.99. Although right now it looks like on Amazon, the only one available is actually $69.99 and it's the black chassis version. If this price increase turns you off though, I also listed another option in the description for you guys that comes in at the original price of $60 that I paid originally. This other option is actually made by another company, but it's a 60% keyboard, it has Gateron optical switches, and it's hot swappable, so pretty close match to the one we reviewed today. Moving on with some of the other items, the Miami keycaps we use cost me 25 bucks. The Asceni coiled cable cost me 25 bucks. The set of switch films that I used today cost me 12 bucks. The switch lube and brush cost me 18 bucks. And finally, the roll of neoprene foam that we used to dampen the chassis cost me $17. Totaling out to just over $150 for all of the parts and accessories. So in the custom keyboard world, I seriously consider this to be a bargain, as this full build still costs me less than like most of the starting cases and PCB kits when you're creating a full custom keyboard. My suggestion to you guys is if you're on a serious budget and $150 seems like a lot for a keyboard, just grab one of these base keyboards that I suggested in the video, start with that, and make the upgrades I suggest in this video, or the ones that you want to do yourself as soon as you can when you get some money to do it. So I'm curious to know your guys' opinion on this keyboard, so let me know in the comments below, and let me know also if you guys would consider picking one up and modding it yourself. And now for the part that you've all been waiting for, the giveaway. So I said that I wanted to wait till 25k subs to give this away, but I figured what the heck, I want to give something else to you guys, so we're just going to go ahead and give away the Womir K66 right here to one of you lucky subscribers. So to enter, you just need to make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, drop this video a like, and then comment down below why you actually want the keyboard or why you would need it. And the giveaway to the link to the Gleam IO page will be in the description as always. So you just need to follow that link, submit your entries, and get that chance to win. So good luck to all of you guys. I honestly wish that I could just give one of these keyboards away to every single one of you, but not feasible for, you know, my channel size right now, unfortunately, or for anybody that matter. But anyway, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.